From the News and Current Affairs Department of LUX Radio, a pleasant good evening and welcome to LUX News Real on LUX FM 106.5. My name is Alex Afalami of this presentation. The top stories we are following. Police IG Gregory Coleman cautions July 17 protesters to avoid assembling on the grounds of the executive mansion, but State's chairman Boba Molu rejects the advice. Senate completes probe of CSA's board's appearance at NIMBO's program, recommends Josiah Jokai be punished in line with the National Code of Conduct. Information Minister Jeremy Pia says that state security officers have arrested several individuals with petrol bombs. And away from Liberia, Nigeria issues flood alert for 14 states as the rainy season intensifies. These stories, including the voices of the newsmakers, the news bulletin, our foreign news, and the analysis segment of the news are all contained in this presentation. But we will take a very short break. We'll be back with the news bulletin for Moses Cole. Welcome back to the program. At this juncture, we will cross over to join Moses Cole, where he's ready to bring us our news bulletin.
Information Minister Jeremy Pia has disclosed that state security officers have arrested several individuals with petrol bombs. According to Minister Pia, the arrest shows that state security officers are determined to ensure that those plotting to destabilize the country are identified and persecuted. The arrest comes as the group Solidarity and Trust for a New Day stand is mobilizing people to participate in its planned July 7th to peaceful assembly. It will also not compromise the demonstration is orderly and peaceful. The Liberian National Police has named Collie Bobo as the principal suspect in the distribution of illegal firearms among members of the group planning the July 17 protests. The protest is being organized by a pro-democracy organization, Solidarity and Trust for a New Dawn stand. According to Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman, the arms are being distributed to facilitate criminal activities during the protests. The Inspector General of the Liberian National Police has assured Liberians of an impartial protection during the planned July 17 protest. Speaking on Wednesday in a live podcast, IG Coleman assured the public that LNP will ensure everyone is protected. Meanwhile, IG Gregory Coleman is cautioning protesters to avoid assembling on the grounds of the executive mansion. The lead campaigner for the planned July 17 protest in Monrovia has vowed that demonstrators will march on the grounds of the executive mansion. Moduba Modu comments follow warning from Police IG Gregory Coleman that protesters should avoid assembling in front of the presidential building. Addressing supporters on Thursday, Modu emphasized that the mansion ground is a public area that should be open to Liberians. According to the stand chairman, an attempt to prevent them from gathering on the grounds of the mansion will lead to violence. The Dean of the University of Liberia's library, Tupanushan, says institution has begun enrolling its libraries online. Speaking on Luke's Morning Journal Thursday, the Nushan explained that digitizing the UL libraries system has been one of its major objectives since taking over the centers. The Nushan added that the center is currently enrolling the system online to enable users of the facilities easily navigate books and reading materials from the comfort of their homes. He said the process is expected to be completed early next year. At the same time, the UL Libraries Dean has expressed frustration about the delay in concluding the second cycle of the computer training program at the libraries. Dean Topanushan blamed the situation on a persistent power outage by the Liberia Electricity Corporation. The National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority (NAFA) says or is set for its Fish Market Day celebration in Pecan Bon, Grand Bassa County. According to NAFA's Director of Communication, Louis Kono, fish farmers and fishmongers from Maigibi County and the Basel region are in high spirit for the pre-independence jamboree. He notes that the day is being organized by NAFA as part of activities for the upcoming National Independence Day celebration within the county. Meanwhile, Director Kono says the fish market day is solely intended to provide enough fishes for families for the upcoming 179th Independence celebration of Liberia. Kono, in a LUX Morning Journal conversation Thursday, encouraged customers to both dry and fresh fishes to form part of the Fish Market Day celebration. The government has received the first batch of Liberians who requested voluntary repatriation from South Africa. The returnees arrived Wednesday at the Rabat International Airport, where they were welcomed by the Executive Director of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, Jericho Banglo. Speaking to journalists, Banglo said the returnees will be taken to a temporary facility for counseling and documentation before being reunited with their families. He disclosed that the first batch consists of 17 of the 29 Liberians who requested voluntary repatriation. The LRRC Executive Director reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting the welfare of Liberians living abroad, regardless of their status or belief. The Liberia Broadcasting System has denied reports that a consolidated group incorporated of opposition leader Simeon Freeman contacted the state broadcaster about airing its program on DSTV. Speaking in Painesville Wednesday, LBS Director General Eugene Facon said his office has not received any communication from CGI, contrary to reports published by Variety Online News and other media outlets. Facon clarified that he is currently engaged in discussions with representatives of DSTV International and disclosed that a possible meeting could take place in the coming weeks. The LBS Director General encouraged Liberians to continue following the state broadcaster while efforts continue to expand its reach. And the Peda Governor of Fender Community, Blama Addison, has raised alarm over increasing drug activities within the area. Speaking to LUX Morning Journal Wednesday, Governor Addison said that despite ongoing efforts by the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency under the Boca Cone administration, drug trafficking and substance abuse remain widespread within Fender. He called on the government through the LDA to intensify operations in the community to address fear and intimidation allegedly caused by substance abusers. Governor Addison also urged the Liberian Land Authority and the National Archive to engage local leaders before processing deeds for parcels of land. According to him, involving community leaders in land sale processes will help reduce land-related disputes across the country.
Many thanks to Moses Cole for bringing us the detail of the news. If you are just joining us, you are listening to LUX News Real on LUX FM 106.5. It is coming to you from the Findale campus of the University of Liberia. My name is Alex Afalami with this presentation. Let's again remind you of the big stories we're following. Police IG Gregory Como cautions July 17 protesters to avoid assembling on the grounds of the executive mansion, but stands Chairman Moba Molu rejects advice. Senate completes probe of CSA's boss appearance at NIMO's program. Recommends Josiah Jukai be punished in line with the National Code of Conduct. Information Minister Gerald McPial says state security officers have arrested several individuals with petrol bombs. And away from Liberia, Nigeria issues flood alert for 14 states as the rainy season intensifies. We're taking another break to be back with the voices of the newsmakers. Many thanks for rejoining us on the program. We now bring you our first development. Information Minister Gerald McPial has disclosed that state security officers have arrested several individuals with petrol bombs. According to Minister Pial, the arrested Those arrests show that the state security officers are determined. Sorry, the arrest shows that state security officers are determined to ensure that those plotting to destabilize the country are identified and prosecuted. That concluded on yesterday, with plans to extend the ground Basel and other counties in the days ahead. The exercise is meant to recruit competent and professional heavy-duty machine operators who will manage the government fleet of heavy-duty moving equipment in support of Liberia's national and road construction and infrastructure development agenda. The committee is expected to set up 19 hubs across We sincerely apologize for that wrong asset. We hope to return to that story later on in the program. The Liberia National Police has named Collie Bubble as the principal suspect in the distribution of illegal firearms among members of the group planning the July 17 protest. The protest has been organized by a pro-democracy organization, Solidarity and Trust for a New Day Stand. According to Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman, the firearms are being distributed to facilitate criminal activities among or during the protest.
As a National Police Service, our responsibility is not to suppress peaceful protests, but to ensure that every Liberian can exercise these constitutional freedoms safely, peacefully, and without any form of intimidation or interferences. I wish to assure the Liberian people that the National Police has taken appropriate preventive measures to protect both the demonstrators and the general public. As part of the ongoing intelligence-led policing operations, our investigators have received credible intelligence regarding manufacturing and planned distribution of Molotov cocktails intended for unlawful use during the demonstration. Acting swiftly, the police investigators intercepted a quantity of these improvised incendiary devices even before they could be distributed. Investigation remains active, and every person connected to the criminal activity will be prosecuted in accordance with the laws of the Republic of Liberia. Additionally, the Liberian National Police has identified Mr. Collie Bobo as a principal suspect in the ongoing investigation concerning the alleged distribution of illegal firearms intended to facilitate criminal activities during the protest.
Meanwhile, RG Gregory Coleman is cautioning protesters to avoid assembling on the grounds of the executive mansion.
I wish to encourage all protest organizers and participants alike to continue working closely with the police and adhere to the approved protest routes and designated assembly areas, respecting the rights of motorists, businesses, residents, and fellow citizens, and ensuring that every emergency vehicle will retain unrestricted access at all times. I also remind the public that the executive mansion ground, there's no go, nobody not coming there. Participants are therefore encouraged to remain within the approved routes and designated assembly areas while cooperating fully with officers deployed. The order given by the officer at the order of the day, you please follow it. On Friday, the National Police will deploy all over the city.
Despite a caution from RG Coleman, the lead campaigner of the planned July 17 protest in Monrovia has vowed that demonstrators will march on the grounds of the executive mansion. Here is Moba Molu. This is good. If I wish for the play for the make your story. He is the national chairman of Stand Mobile Bolu, speaking during an awareness for the upcoming protests in Monrovia Thursday. Earlier, you listened to Police IG Gregory Como. And back to this story, Information Minister Jeremy Pial has disclosed that the state security officers have arrested several individuals with petrol bombs. According to Minister Pial, the arrest shows that state security officers are determined to ensure that those plotting to destabilize the country are identified and persecuted. We'll bring that story in our subsequent newscast, so we can bring it all now. The Dean of the University of Liberia's libraries, Toba Nushin, says the institution has begun enrolling its libraries online. Speaking on Lux Morning Journal Thursday, Dean Nushin explained that digitizing the UEO library system has been one of his major objectives since taking over the centers.
Unfortunately, the power outage really disturbed our program, but we thank God now that the electricity is stable, we are back on par with that. Our program is not just an open program where we guest and teach the students. Our programs are based on syllabus for all levels. We have syllabus guiding our teaching. So we want to make sure that we exhaust those syllabus satisfactorily before we can certificate our students. Because I see no reason of you certificating a student who is not prepared to go out there and defend the certificate that he or she has. And so, based upon that, we have a little bit of extension in the time frame. As you may be aware, usually it comes to an end. We are currently working on, and we hope to bring it to an end early next year, at which time we will be giving full access to the university community.
When you talk about library project, what is that?
As you may be aware, and I know once upon a time it came out in our discussion here in the studio, one of our major objectives has been to digitize the University of Liberia library system.
Okay.
And thankfully, the university administration listened to our plea, and they came in so well to help us achieve that objective. And so sometimes ago, the University of Liberia did a subscription to 9 databases from EBSCOhost. As you may be aware, EBSCOhost is one of the leading vendors of library resources around the world. And looking at how the trend librarianship is taking right now, we thought it was to kind of transition or to align ourselves with that trend right now. And so we thought going digital would be an ideal thing for the university community. And so the university administration responded to that. And currently the project is ongoing. And once completed, we are going to integrate all of our library resources into one library management system. So that means a library user will not have to walk through the doors of the library to have access to the library, except in a situation where he or she wants to read from a print material that is in one of our libraries on the shelf.
At the same time, the UL Libraries Dean has expressed frustration over the delay in concluding the second cycle of the computer training program at the center.
Unfortunately, the power outage really disturbed our program, but we thank God now that the electricity is stable, we are back on par with that. Our program is not just an open program where we guest and teach the students. Our programs are based on syllabus for all levels. We have syllabus guiding our teaching. So we want to make sure that we exhaust those syllabus satisfactorily before we can certificate our students. Because I see no reason of you certificating a student who is not prepared to go out there and defend the certificate that he or she has. And so, based upon that, we have a little bit of extension in the time frame. As you may be aware, usually it comes to an end just at the end of the semester. But because of that power outage, we realized that most of our students were not able to do that practical that is required to prepare them for
Tobanushin is the Dean of the University of Liberia Library Systems. He was speaking on Lux Morning Journal Thursday. The Liberian Senate is recommending that the Director General of the Civil Service Agency be punished in line with the National Code of Conduct for participating in political program. Josiah Joka recently attended a program that was organized by the National Independent Movement for Bwaka and Nimbo. According to the Director of Press at the Liberian Senate, Augustine Sall, plenary's action was based on a report from its Judiciary Committee.
The committee, through the plenary today, did not recommend to the president for the CSA post to be removed. Rather, there were several recommendations to include recommendations that are within the law. The code of conduct is clear. There are recommendations, and some of the recommendations include fines. Some of the recommendations include suspension. Some of the recommendations, as per the law, there are many, but specifically, they did not recommend to the president that Josiah Tukai should be removed from his post.
But before the recommendation, according to the code of conduct that we're talking about, was there a hearing where Jokai and his lawyer appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee?
Well, Josiah then appeared before, in fact, he even appeared before plenary and later on appeared before the committee. You listen to the committee chairperson and you listen to committee members. They said he was given due diligence and he appeared twice. So it was not a one-day thing. It was not 2 days. I even saw him this morning. So if you can't even tell as to whether he did not appear before then, even before we go into for plenary discussion. So I think due diligence was given him. He was asked as to why he did it because he's a grown man. He's aware of the code of conduct. So I think he actually told the people the truth why he did it, whether he did it in ignorance or he did it out of conscience. That all was established. So the committee within their wisdom thought it wise to write the president with these recommendations. About 7 recommendations. The president within his wisdom can choose to do whatever the Constitution says in regards to violation of the code of conduct.
Augustine Sall is the Director of Press at the Liberian Senate. He was in a mobile phone conversation with Lux Radio Thursday evening. The National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority in NAFAL says all is set for its fishery, that's Fish Market Day celebration in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. According to NAFAL's Director of Communications, Louis Connell, fish farmers and fishmongers from Marquette County and the Bassa region are in high spirit for the pre-independence jamboree.
If you go on to Buchanan, the Fish Market Day is on Saturday the 25th at Fairground in Buchanan City. Now, if somebody want to buy, they will buy using orange money. And when you buy, you will get 10% discount of what you spent using orange money. You transfer the money to the buyer. If the fish costs $1,000 Liberian, you send $1,000 Liberian to the fishmonger. There you see her name will be there, her mobile money number will be visible. You get it there on the dashboard. You see the mobile money number, her name, the counter she from, so you can make an arrangement. Maybe you want the woman to supply your family every month with fish for the entire month. She can supply you both dry and fresh fish. If you want a live fish from the farm, the guys can get it to you. As a matter of fact, we got people doing fish farming in Kakata, all the way there in Beaumont. Kakata and Beaumont, the guys there with big catfish and big tilapia. We saw them before. They have them now, and they will have it on sale on Saturday, the 25th of July in Buchanan. Buchanan not far from Monrovia. Drive over, pick up your fish. And I spoke with the women doing the dry fish. They said, in fact, they season most of the fish, and they have others not seasoned because some people not like pepper. And so, don't worry, if you're not a pepper person, you got your fish there. Nice dry pony will be on sale. The kangwe, you have the soap fish, the fresh one, the dry one. Naple, you have the fresh naple, the dry naple, the crab, the lobsters, the shrimps, the one referred to as crawfish. All of that will be on sale for you, the fish buyers.
Meanwhile, Director Kono says the Fish Market Day is solely intended to provide enough fishes for families for the upcoming 179th Independence celebration of Liberia.
It's intended to put fish in the house so that you can have the celebration. Yes, that's the major intent, so that your home can have all types of fish before the celebration. That's the intent. Fish farmers will come from Kakata, fish mongers will come from 2 counties. Majority of them will come from Bassa, then the rest of them will come from Riverses. So we have incorporated Riverses we incorporated river cells. The fishmongers, the women that sell fish, will come from river cells, and majority of them will be from Buchanan City. Yeah. So most of the other people will not be part of it. Yeah, most of the other people they had a time. So this is exclusively for Grand Bassa and river cells fishmongers.
Louis Kono is the Director of Communications at the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority. He was speaking on Lux Morning Journal via the mobile phone on Thursday. If you are just coming our way, you are listening to Lux News Real on Lux FM 106.5. It is coming to you from the Fendia campus of the University of Liberia. And I am Alex Atholami on top of this one. Let's again remind you of the big stories we're following. Police IG Gregory Coleman cautions July 17 protesters to avoid assembling on the grounds of the executive mansion, but Stern's chairman Mobile Molu rejects advice. Senate completes probe of CSA boss appearance at Nemo's program, recommends Josiah Jokai be punished in line with the National Code of Conduct. Information Minister Jolly Mepia says the security officers have arrested several individuals with petrol bombs. And outside of Liberia, Nigeria issues flood alert for 14 states as the rainy season intensifies. Let's take another break. When we come back, we'll bring you more local stories. Yesterday's photo telling yesterday's photo. Many thanks for rejoining us on the program. Let's bring you more local stories. The government has received the first batch of Liberians who requested voluntary repatriation from South Africa. The returnees arrived Wednesday at the Rabat International Airport, where they were welcomed by the Executive Director of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, Jericho Bangalu. Speaking to journalists, Bangalu said the returnees will be taken to a temporary facility for counseling and documentation before being reunited with their families.
Initially was 29, but later on they reduced to 21. And for those who came to this 17, the 2019 was extended to some service. Eventually the number of people back to 21. So we expect the first batch to be 21. But this will be an ongoing process. Women, other Liberians expressed through voluntary means their desire to come. We have to work out the modalities for them. Those that were tracked by the embassy in Pretoria were around 263. But of that number, there were 29 that opted voluntarily return.
That's Trooper CU boss Jericho Bangalu speaking to journalists at the Rabat International Airport Wednesday. The Liberia Broadcasting System has denied reports that the Consolidated Group Incorporated of opposition leader Simeon Freeman contacted the state broadcaster about airing its programs on DSTV. Speaking in Painesville Wednesday, LBS Director General Eugene Fagon said his office has not received any communication from CGI, contrary to reports published by Verity Online News and other media outlets.
I've come on to say that we are taking it back from an article that appeared from what we saw on Verity Online News and some other media outlets that somehow the Consolidated Group Incorporated, the official service provider of DSTV, as they claim, had invited the Liberian Broadcasting System to upload television content to the DSTV satellite platform to move Liberian programs forward, that information is false and misleading, and the public should not consider that information. They went on to say that I was written and I received a letter to that effect. I am saying categorically I have not seen any letter.
Eugene Fagon is the Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System. He was speaking to the media in Painesville Wednesday. Without this juncture, we will go to our sports desk where Moses Cole will bring us what's continuing in the world of sports.
The head coach of Spartacus basketball team, Wesley Barr, is urging companies to financially support sporting activities within the country. Coach Barr notes that globally, companies operating in the country render support to sports, stressing that it significantly improves the sector. Barr, who returned a few months ago from Budapest, Hungary, after completing a 2-month sport training, says if Liberian companies embrace the practice, it will provide the much needed financial support to clubs in Liberia.
I didn't witness a game, or for the teams that I saw, there was no team present without a logo. They are sponsored from, or they are sponsored by businesses and entities. And some teams even have more than one. They have series of logos on them. I will not be precise to tell you because I don't know how their businesses run and what are those entities. But like the league, I know is sponsored by the biggest betting company in their country. So every Hungarian league. Yes, every court you go on, you see that logo in the middle of the court.
But here we have series of companies here, but it's just unfortunate that many of them are reneging.
I don't know.
So
Someone told me
trying to grab why.
I may not be right, and it's just a gossip, right? So until I can validate that, okay, I cannot tell you that this is completely what is happening. But someone was gisting me a little bit, and they said that the reason this idea will barely work in Liberia is because all of you.
That's the voice of Wesley Barr, head coach of Spartacus basketball team. England's hope of reaching their first FIFA World Cup final in 60 years came to an end on Wednesday night after suffering a 2-1 defeat to world champions Argentina in the semi-finals. The Three Lions took the lead in the 55th minute through Anthony Gordon, who calmly finished from inside the penalty area. However, Chelsea midfielder Endo Fernandez leveled the score in the 85th minute with a powerful long-range strike before Inter Milan's striker Lautaro Martinez headed home a dramatic winner in stoppage time. Head coach Thomas Tuchel's side will now face France in the third-place playoff on Saturday, while Argentina will take on Spain in the 2026 FIFA World Cup final on Sunday. And Argentina faced the prospect of disciplinary action from FIFA after the players celebrated the World Cup semi-final win against England with a banner in support of the country's claim to the Falkland Islands. The defending world champion produced a dramatic late comeback in Atlanta, scoring twice to defeat Thomas Tuchel's side 2-1 and broke a showdown with Spain subject of a sovereignty dispute between the UK and Argentina. Downing Street Barr calls for FIFA to investigate, with the Prime Minister official spokesperson saying the World Cup might not be ours, but the Falkland Islands definitely are. Our commitment to the Falklands will never waver.
Moses, the game was a powerful one last night. I'm talking about the World Cup semi-final between Argentina and England. But I'm here wondering how Chelsea name is again surfacing in this glory. Was it by force to mention Chelsea midfielder Enzo Fernandez? Was that enough to say
So
these Chelsea people?
I mean, he plays for a club thing in one of Euro top league.
Is Chelsea.
He's with Chelsea.
At least it was better to have said Barcelona winger Anthony Gordon scored.
I know.
I'm just kidding, Chelsea fans. Well, for the sports desk, we'll come back to bring you this final local development. The Ikwele governor of Fendel community, Blama Allison, has raised alarm over increasing drug activities in the area. Speaking on Lux Morning Journal Wednesday, Governor Allison said, despite ongoing efforts by the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency under the Bwakakun administration, drug trafficking and substance abuse remain widespread in Fendel.
We are asking the government to come in to see how some of those things can be handled. Like we have landlords, cases that we know that people selling drugs, but we not got no authorities to handle it. We just got to deal with them. And for the frustration part of it is the man selling drugs. The community people know it, but when maybe the community people got to make a sale, or they call even somebody that they want to to handle those issues, that person will come and attack you as your enemies. Because the man will move from here, like they carry to go maybe to detain him, but then in 2 minutes or 2 hours you will see that person back in the communities and start collecting, it become collecting for the community. And now till that a big people fear, nobody want to say anything to it, because people just say look at it, nobody can stop anything, because if somebody can come.
Governor Allison also urged the Liberia Land Authority and the National Archives to engage local leaders before processing these for parcels of land.
No, look at the government side. We got to take it very serious. The issue not to consider war again for us, because we know why war is for us. You can look at no. If they are telling you, if I want to go make land deal for this university company again, I can go and I'll get it and bring it, and they will be.
You really mean that can happen?
That one can happen. I can go and make sure and bring the deed and register in ACA. And without they seeing the land, the ACA registration, they will not come see the land, that where is the land located, and the person bringing that deed to come register it. They will just, you just get your deed, they register it, and you become landowner. Who is not supposed to be so. Before you do any survey, the leader in that township or in that counties, or the superintendents or the district representatives, they're supposed to be aware of it. They call their township, their villages, to tell them that who owns this land, and go have time for meeting with you.
Blaman Allison is the governor that's of Findale community. He was a Lux Morning Journal Wednesday. Well, Moses Cole is back again, but this time he was fill us in with what's obtaining outside of Liberia.
Uganda on Thursday discharged its first Ebola patient. Health authorities say the country has started a countdown to declaring the country free of the virus. Under WHO guidelines, our country is officially Ebola-free if new cases are confirmed within 42 days. Since the latest outbreak was announced in May, Uganda has reported 20 confirmed cases, including 2 deaths. No new cases have been reported in the country since June 21. Algerian civil defense authorities say fire turned through an orphanage on the outskirts of Algiers early Thursday, killing at least 11 people and injuring 19 others. The blaze broke out before dawn, with emergency crew responding around 3 a.m. local time. Firefighters were still working to bring the flames under control hours later. And 14 of Nigeria's 36 states are put on flood alert on Wednesday as authorities warn of the risks of moderate flooding as the rainy season intensifies. The country's Hydrological Services Agency urged residents in high-risk zones along major river channels to relocate clear drainage channels and avoid crossing flooded roads. It also called on state governments to strengthen emergency warning systems, activate evacuation plans, and increase public awareness.
Moses Cole with our international developments, but he will hold on as we delve quickly into the final segment of the news, which is the discussion segment. Moses, welcome again, but there is something I see very interesting, which is about this tomorrow's protest. July 17 protest has been organized by Stand under the banner Lead or Leave. You know, as the date of the protest draws near, I mean, the drama will not cease. Yesterday, somebody was talking about going butt naked if no one goes to receive the petition. And today, earlier on this morning, Police IG Gregory Coleman, sounded a caveat to the protesters that no one should or will be allowed to protest or parade on the grounds of the executive mansion. And the chairman of STAN, Moba Molu, comes in defiance. He says they will definitely go to the executive mansion.
Yeah, and so, Alex, so it was last night that the police IG released the statement.
Okay.
And today at STAN's headquarters, so somewhere in Congo Town, it's understood that the chairperson of STAN, the pro-democracy group, Moluba Modu, said in his words, to prevent them, because in his words, they will go there and come what may, should any attempt exist in preventing them, in his words, Babun will devour Kola.
But I think Molu has to some extent succeeded in getting the attention of the public and the police on this one.
Surely he has.
As compared to previous protests he organized.
Surely he has.
Well, folks, we will go home on this evening's presentation of Lux News Real with this one. But just before we leave, let's again remind you of the big stories we followed. Police IG Gregory Coleman cautions Mobile Molu rejects advice. Senate completes probe of CSA boss appearance at Nemo's program. Recommends Josiah Jokai to be punished in line with the National Code of Conduct. Information Minister Joel Mepia says the state security officers have arrested several individuals with petrol bombs. And with Liberia, Nigeria issues flood alert for 14 states as the rainy season intensifies. Many thanks for your listening role. This has been, and that's Alex Arthur Lami's presentation.